志願不満足政府上昇学下を無力不依頼接種不採処便具政府上昇学下市上仏路病床長寺法空教微小門政府上昇学利欲人少年上映主凡用死具無浄土一生天人死人力縁大公無償無才道少女三苦名交際集約難回避知恵言滅死公案閉塞小悪道通達全宗門高僧上満足異様老寺法日月修十期天候音符言一種解放像法世苦読法上大集中説法施施空空有一切物不足修徳本元年質上満徳意三害を如仏無下地通達未不詳感覚営利土地最小村志願や効果大聖を感動国書天人東
Good morning, everyone. This is Lin Sugiyama speaking on behalf of the Arizona Buddhist Temple here in Phoenix, Arizona. I want to thank you for watching us on this video. Today, I'm here at the Arizona Buddhist Temple, and we are before the shrine of the Amida Buddha, right behind me. Today, we're here to commemorate Obon Service. This is the time that we remember our loved ones who have passed away, especially for those families who are part of this Hatsubon service. This is their first cycle for their loved ones who have passed away. This is their first Obon that we're holding for those families. So I'd like to go ahead and read the names of our loved ones. This is from November of 2020. This is in memory of Tom Yoshitsugu Okuma, in memory of Osam Nakamura, in memory of Nick Nakagawa, in memory of James Kubota, in memory of Fumi Okabayashi, in memory of Frank Yamamoto, in memory of Robert Corella, in memory of Robert Rivas, in memory of Leonore Leineberger, and in memory of Kei Kiyomi Kadamoto. Please join me in Gasho. Let's put our hands together. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandas. So our loved ones who passed away, I'm sure they are very happy today because they have come back to this world and have led us here to the Buddhist temple to hear the Buddhist teachings together. So I know that back in November, we held our Eitakyo and Obon service where we remembered our loved ones from July of 2019 to November of 2020. And today we're continuing going by video and holding this Obon service. And so it is my privilege to introduce our guest speaker. His name is Reverend Alan Sakamoto. He's currently living in Fresno. He is retired, so he is a Mr. Emeritus for BCA. He used to be a Mr. in Fresno and also at the Orange County Buddhist Temple. So without further ado, let's all listen to Reverend Sakamoto's timely Dharma message for the Obon service. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. I want to thank you for listening. Please be healthy and please be safe. Thank you very much.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me today to speak at the Arizona Buddhist Temple. Thank you to the Sangha, and thank you to Reverend Sugiyama for the gracious invitation. And I think some of you know that Arizona Buddhist Temple is one of my more favorite temples and Sanghas. I'm going to try to do this with a slide presentation, so you'll have to excuse me as I try to get this up on the screen. Yes, I decided I was going to do something a little bit different this time. And so I like to talk about Buddhism and poker. In the past years, the popularity of poker has exploded. There are TV shows televising live events, a multitude of online poker sites, and the World Series of Poker is a multi-million-dollar event. Texas Hold'em is the most popular of these televised games. In this game, everyone receives 2 cards down, your personal or whole cards, then you can stay in the game. Fold your cards to remove yourself from the game or even increase your bet. Next comes 3 community cards, face up, that everyone can use, or otherwise known as the flop. Again, players can stay in the game, bet, or raise the stakes or fold. Next comes a single community card called the turn, followed again by the same round of betting. Finally, the last community card comes out, and this is called the river. The final round of betting occurs, and then there is a showdown where the remaining players show their hold cards to determine the winner. This is, of course, a very simplistic explanation of the Texas Hold'em game, and the complexities takes years and many hands of poker to learn. And it isn't the purpose of this talk to teach you how to play poker. You are probably asking yourself, why poker? Well, poker mirrors real life, the chaotic and messy nature of real life. Poker, like real life, requires us to make the best decision we can with a limited amount of information from the facts presented to us. The information is never complete until the poker hand or life event is finished. Until then, you can never be completely sure. This game sits in between a game where you can see all the facts like checkers and the opposite extreme of pure luck like roulette. A friend once told me life is 10% what happens and 90% how you react. Real life is based on making the best decision possible with the limited information available. And that 90%, how you react, that's Buddhism, and especially Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Maria Konnikova, a psychology PhD and author of the book, The Biggest Bluff, says, each decision throws off signals, and the good players must learn to read them. It's a constant back and forth interpretive dance. How do I react to you? How do you react to me? More often than not, it's not the best hand that wins, it's the best player. Indeed, when the economist Ingo Fiedler analyzed hundreds of thousands of hands played online poker sites over a 6-month period, he found that the actual best hand won on average only 12% of the time. Economists Stephen Levitt and Thomas Miles studied live poker and compared the return on investment for 2 groups of players at the 2010 World Series of Poker. They found that recreational players lost 15% of the time, while professional players won over 30%. This implies that success in poker is much more based on skill than luck. In poker, it's often the best player who wins the game, not the best hand. You only get dealt the best cards every now and then. You won't win too much money, even if you have the best hand, because even the least attentive player will have noticed that you only play when you have good hands. So even if you win, you will not win very much. Poker and life are games of incomplete information. There are cards only I see. There are cards only you see. And there are cards everyone sees. I need to make the best decision I can based on the information that I know for certain and the information I infer from the actions of others. Yet I will never know all the information possible. And even with all that information and the correct decision made, you can lose. In poker, there is still the luck of the community cards. The decision-making process and the results are not the same. Do you blame yourself or blame the cards when you lose? Do you claim yourself as lucky if you win? Do you take credit in life when things go well? Do you blame others and the world when things go badly? The only way to actually win at poker and at life is to get better each and every day. If you want better results, forget about aiming at certain outcomes like winning $1 million in the lottery, but focus on building your decision-making systems and processes. This is also true in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. To win in your life means to get better each and every day. Learn from your mistakes. Your practice is learning how to live a great life. This is what Reverend Kenmyo Taira Sato called great living. One way for us to understand Buddhism and poker is to use the Eightfold Noble Path as our guide. As we discuss the Eightfold Noble Path, the word right here doesn't mean right or wrong, good or bad, nor black or white, but instead different levels of gray. And for each of us, what is right and wrong will be different from the next person. The way we see the world can form the foundation to overcome change and suffering. In poker, you need to overcome the bad losses and realize that losses are lessons. Many times, the best teacher we have is to lose. Then learn from those mistakes. When things go wrong, some people tend to see it as unfairness or being unlucky. Sometimes we think that bad luck is always following us. But in these cases, people don't take a step back to analyze their own decisions or where they may have gone wrong. We need to look internally for the reasons and answers. Right thought. In playing poker, one needs to acknowledge that no one is due for good cards, luck, or karma. The psychologist Julian Rotter wrote in 1966 the phrase locus of control. This is asking the questions of when something happens in the external environment, is it because of our own actions or skills, or is it because of some outside factor? The right way of looking at things can help us to be more in control and happy in life. Right speech. In poker, there is usually 8 players who sit around a table, and it is inevitable that conversation ensues. Of course, right speech indicates that we should be truthful and honest, yet some players may be derogatory in what they say to you. Some will tell you a story that leads you to believe they are unskilled and helpless, or even proud and skilled. It is better to not take either side and remain on the middle path. Be honest to yourself. Right conduct or action. I am the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, born of my actions, related through my actions, and have my actions as my arbitrator. Whatever I do, for good or for evil, to that will I fall heir. This indicates that we are responsible for our own actions. Do you blame someone else for losing the poker pot? Yet you didn't have the best hand. Maybe you incorrectly made certain assumptions, or were bullheaded and stubbornly stayed in the game even though the data suggested you didn't have the best hand. Right livelihood. We need to live our lives where we avoid doing harm to others, animals, and the environment. We are all interconnected. Yet perhaps the most common question, is it okay for a Buddhist to gamble? There are no restriction or rules against gambling as a Jodo Shinshu Buddhist. Yay! As Reverend Kenmyo Taira Sato writes about the Tani Show, he refers to great living. It is through our experiences that Shinran Shonen's true lessons become alive and practical. Right effort. It is important for poker players to play evenly, not influenced by the emotions or the thoughtlessness of the moment. In poker, reading your opponent, regularly referred to as tells, can provide a great deal of information, especially as they initially look at their cards. Yet many poker players ignore the game after they fold. They look on their phones, look at other tables, everything except paying attention to the action and tells of their opponents. One should try to stay positive, control one's emotions and thoughts, and pay attention to yourself and your surroundings. Many times, we tend to be overly optimistic and map our plan, timelines, and goals. Yet, when the status quo changes, do we change with our new information, or do we remain stubborn and stick to our original plan? Right effort suggests that we work to adapt to changing situations and facts. Right meditation concentration. The right training will provide us with the means to stay focused, keep the important data in front of us in order to make the best decision possible. We should stop hoping. We should stop hoping for a certain outcome or cards. We need to focus on the signs, adjust accordingly, and let our initial thoughts and plans go. Let it go. Right mindfulness. A person should become familiar with him or herself, people, and places we encounter. You should be well aware of the world around you. This self-awareness helps you to live in the present. This is the key to playing poker. Living in the moment, being aware of yourself. That is, of course, your strengths and weaknesses. Our attention to the poker cards and people can be a powerful source of information that you need to constantly reevaluate and reassess. Paying attention will keep you in the moment. It will allow you to catch the signals that will tell us what to do before any bad beats occur on the poker table. Other miscellaneous Buddhist ideas I had while thinking about poker and Buddhism. The first is bonno, the desire to win and to win big. This is, of course, the greed. The greed, one of the three poisons. It's also the greed that we find in the hungry ghosts. Maybe you remember they have big mouths and thin pencil necks, so they can eat a lot, but not much gets to them in their stomach. Of course, when you're at the poker table, you can think about how you should act. You should act with loving kindness to everyone there. You should act and treat everybody with equanimity. And of course, you need to tame yourself. Don't let your emotions get out of control. These concepts provide you with guidelines to help you play better poker and live a happier life. Shinran Shonin never tells us exactly what to do in every situation. There are no black and white rules. He provided us with guidelines to help us self-learn and self-evaluate. Similarly, I can't promise you that you will win that poker hand when you get dealt a pair of kings, or what you should do when your opponent re-raises. But the lessons learned may be helpful in more places than at the poker table. I again like to thank you for your patience. I'd like to thank the Sangha and the Arizona Buddhist Temple for inviting me today. It's been an experience the last year doing Dharma messages and communicating through Zoom. I hope this message finds all of you well, and I hope you continue to have a wonderful day. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.